You've probably seen the trailer for Avatar Fire and Ash. It released online, and reactions came in fast. Fans are excited, the visuals look stunning, and as expected, the box office predictions are already rolling in. And let's be honest, this movie will make money. Maybe not quite Way of Water numbers, but it'll do really, really well. But here's the thing. In just a few months after it hits theaters, nobody's gonna talk about it. And that's not a cynical take, that's a pattern. We saw it with Avatar The Way of Water. It became the third highest grossing film of all time, unadjusted for inflation. Huge numbers, but culturally, practically silent. People didn't meme it, they didn't bring it up in casual conversation. I couldn't even tell you what the story's about, and I'm not alone in that. It felt like a movie that came, dazzled, and disappeared. And I'll own my mistake up front. I did a video back in 2022 predicting that The Way of Water would bomb. It didn't. That video's still up. I got it wrong. But at the time, James Cameron himself said the movie needed to make $2 billion just to break even. So my prediction wasn't wild speculation. It was based on Cameron's own standard for success. Still, the movie blew past expectations. So why didn't it leave a lasting imprint? Let's rewind to 2009. The original Avatar was unlike anything we'd seen. It was a visual revolution, full performance capture, hyper-detailed digital environments, immersive 3D. Cameron waited years for technology to catch up to his vision, and when it didn't exist, he invented it. No one's denying that the first Avatar was a technological breakthrough. Narratively though, the film was familiar. Pocahontas meets Ferngully meets Dances with Wolves in space. And Cameron even admitted that comparison himself. Still, the film had weight. It told a complete story. Beginning, middle, end. Quaritch, the clear antagonist, dies. Shot twice with arrows by Neytiri. Dead. No ambiguity. And that's where my respect for the first Avatar ends and my disinterest in the sequels begins. Because The Way of Water undoes that finality. Somehow, Quaritch is back. Just like how somehow Palpatine returned in Rise of Skywalker. And for me personally, that was a narrative deal breaker. It cheapens the conclusion of the first film. Suddenly, death doesn't mean anything. Consequences don't stick. If Cameron wanted to create a grand mythos, this wasn't the way to start. And that's what myth-making really comes down to. Narrative weight that builds across time. Take Star Wars episodes 1 through 6, no need to get into the sequel trilogy, we're skipping that debate entirely as of right now. But the original 6 films, they crafted a legacy. Even though we knew Revenge of the Sith had to end with Darth Vader and the fall of the Republic, it still resonated. Because the full arc added texture and meaning to the entire galaxy. You watch episodes 1 through 6 now, and it feels complete, mythic. The MCU's Infinity Saga did this too. From Iron Man to Endgame, every film was part of something bigger. Characters evolved, conflicts escalated, themes deepened, and when Thanos finally snapped his fingers, it wasn't just a payoff, it was the reward for years of slow burn storytelling. Remember, Thanos first appeared in a post-credits scene in The Avengers. That moment was a promise. Endgame was the fulfillment. That's why those sagas stick. They built narratives that mattered. They made us care not just about what happened, but why it happened, and what it meant long term. Avatar doesn't do that. It builds spectacle, not mythos, and that's not inherently bad, but it does mean that after the theater experience ends, there's not much else left. The Way of Water leaned harder into animation. Nearly everything was rendered. The Na'vi were digital, the environments digital. It looked beautiful, but it felt more like an extended tech demo than a piece of emotional storytelling. And Cameron's always been a tech-forward filmmaker. Think The Abyss. Everyone remembers the water tentacle. Or T2 Judgment Day with the T-1000, which took the liquid effects and perfected it. These weren't praised for story, they were praised for innovation. Same with Avatar. It unlocked a new path for fully digital storytelling. But when you start layering sequels on top of a movie that was never designed to carry a legacy, you risk watering it down. Way of Water felt like it was leaning on nostalgia and visual continuity, but narratively, it unraveled the very threads that made the first film self-contained. Now we're getting Fire and Ash. It looks good, probably will be good in the Way of Water was good, stunning visuals, world building that'll make a jaw drop, but once the excitement passes, I'd bet we'll be right back where we were, a movie with zero cultural traction. There's a real question here about what makes films stick, what gives them staying power. It's not just money, and it's not just visuals. It's myth, it's meaning, it's a promise delivered over time. Cameron had the chance to let Avatar be a singular achievement, a standalone film that opened the door for digital filmmaking. Even if the story was derivative, it still could have claimed its own legacy. But instead, we're watching the world he built become more diluted with each sequel rather than more resonant. It's a problem across genres too. Take 2005's The Descent, an underground horror masterpiece that played with psychological ambiguity. A group of spelunkers trapped in deep caverns may have been hunted by monstrous creatures, or they may have descended into madness, turning on each other. The brilliance was in the uncertainty, but then came The Descent Part 2, which picked up just days later and discarded the ambiguity entirely. Authorities investigate the caves, the creatures are confirmed real, and just like that, the mystery evaporates. The sequel didn't deepen the myth, it dismantled it. That instinct to explain everything can drain a story of its power. Sometimes what's left unsaid is what lasts. And that's the conversation I think we need to have. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Did The Way of Water connect with you emotionally, or did it feel more like a visual simulation? What do you think Fire and Ash needs to do to actually build its own mythos? And is it possible that adding sequels to a complete story ends up doing more harm than good? Let's unpack this together, because how we talk about movies after we leave the theater matters just as much as what happens inside. And here's what I'll leave you with. Avatar will keep dominating box offices. Cameron will keep pushing technology forward, no doubt. But unless these films start building something bigger, more thoughtful, and more narratively rich, they'll keep fading into cultural obscurity as quickly as they rise. And yet, Avatar refuses to be counted out. In 2021, a surprise re-release added another $60 million to its global total, lifting it just above Avengers Endgame to reclaim the title of highest-grossing film of all time, unadjusted for inflation. That crown swap wasn't supposed to happen. By all logic, Endgame was the cultural summit. But Avatar, with little fanfare and almost no online discourse, quietly took its throne back. It's a bizarre legacy. Financial dominance without cultural momentum. Somehow, against all odds, it worked. Because it came out at just the right time. Not once, but twice. So until next time, keep watching closely, keep thinking critically, and keep looking beyond the pixels. The legacy of storytelling isn't found in the spectacle, it's found in the echo.